Hello, my name is Annabelle Chiu, and I'm a student at the Collège Communautaire du Nouveau-Brunswick campus of Dieppe. In collaboration with the University of Nitra, the students of the marketing program present to you the Canadian Public Administration, an overview of the Canadian Governmental Institutions. Our prepared documents will be sent to our Slovak associates in order to enlighten them on how the Canadian government works, highlight the similarities and differences in comparison to the Slovak government, and further demonstrate the pros and cons of either government systems. We hope that this document allows our Slovak associates to fully comprehend the nature of the three governmental powers of Canada, such as judicial, executive, and legislative, as well as federal, provincial, and municipal levels of government. It is our intention to properly enunciate the structure of our government to allow the readers to interpret and elaborate the information in a consistent manner. Right now, I'll just present the presenters, which would be Daniel Boudreau, Katrina Vindeskov, Catherine Bourg. Our collaborators are Christine Léger, Jean-Luc Boudreau, and Maximilian Tyson. As for the table of contents, we will elaborate on the federal, provincial, and municipal levels of the Canadian government. So without further delay, I will now ask Daniel Boudreau to start.
My name is Daniel Boudreau, and I will now present an overview of the federal level of government. The federal government is responsible for subjects that affect the whole country, such as citizenship, immigration, national defense, and trade. Elizabeth II is Canada's formal head of state, and she is represented by the Governor General, who carries out her duties. The federal government has three powers, such as legislative, executive, and judicial. The legislative level of the federal government, or parliament, is the highest political institution in the political system. It is the lawmaking branch of the federal government. It includes the House of Commons and the Senate. The House of Commons is the major lawmaking body. The members are elected representatives that debate and vote on proposed Canadian laws. The members are called Members of Parliament, or MPs, and they normally belong to a political party. The party with the most MPs form the government, and the leader becomes the Prime Minister. As for the Senate, the Governor General appoints senators that the Prime Minister recommends. The senators discuss and vote on legislation after it passes the House of Commons. No bill can become law until it passes the Senate. The executive branch of government applies and enforces the law. It includes the cabinet and the administration. The administration includes government departments, armed forces, crown corporations, and other bodies. The cabinet sets the policies and the priorities for the government. The Governor General appoints members upon the advice of the Prime Minister. Most are from the House of Commons. The Cabinet is the Prime Minister's forum for creating consensus among the ministers. It is an informal mechanism, although its decisions carry a great deal of weight. The judicial branch of the government interprets and applies the law. It runs independently from all other government branches. There are different levels and types of courts in Canada, at which they all differ from jurisdiction. There is the Federal Court, the Specialized Courts, and the Supreme Court of Canada. The federal court hears disputes between territories and provinces. It also hears disputes between territories or provinces and the federal government, citizenship appeals, copyright issues, etc. An appeal from the federal court goes to the Federal Court of Appeals and then to the Supreme Court of Canada. Specialized federal courts specialize in only one area of the law. For example, the Tax Court of Canada would hear disputes about between taxpayers and the federal government. The Supreme Court of Canada is the highest level of courts in Canada and hears appeals from all lower courts, including the territorial and the provincial courts of appeal. The Supreme Court of Canada has jurisdiction over every area of the law. No appeal from a decision made by the Supreme Court can be made. I will now introduce our next presentator, Katrina Vinderskov.
Hello, I'm going to present to you the provincial government level. Canada has 10 provinces and 2 territories. Each province and territory has their own distinct laws and government. They may seem similar, but they do have their differences. For example, Quebec is unique in the fact that it is a distinct society, meaning that it is a French society character. First in our executive class of government is our Premier, Brian Gallant. He was sworn in October 2014. Also in October 2014, we had 12 cabinet ministers that were also sworn in. I would like to point out that 12 cabinet ministers is a record low amount for the province of New Brunswick. The Office of Protocol supports New Brunswick's presence nationally and internationally by coordinating visits from the royal family and other events, providing advice to government departments, agencies, and to the public, managing all aspects of the Order of New Brunswick, and maintaining order of the precedents in the province of New Brunswick. Right for information. Every resident in New Brunswick has the right to request and receive the information that is held on their behalf. They may also correct it if it is needed. The Order of New Brunswick is the highest honor that the province of New Brunswick can give to a person. It was established in December 2000 and is given to people who have demonstrated excellency and achievements within social, cultural, and economic ways, which have contributed to the well-being of the province of New Brunswick. Within the legislative class, we have our Legislative Assembly, which is in Fredericton. It was built in 1882 and houses the Legislative Assembly. It is our seat and symbol of democracy within New Brunswick. Our Lieutenant Governor is Justine Roy-Bienot. She has been sworn in November 2014. The Queen, Elizabeth II, is the head of state within New Brunswick, but the Lieutenant Governor will represent the Queen within the province. She will attend over 100 public events, and she will give royal assent to all bills before they become law. She will also give the speech from the throne in every opening of a new session of Legislative Assembly. The Legislative Library services primarily the Legislative Assembly. They give information and advice to the people that visit it, and it is also open to the public. It has been open for 172 years. The courts within New Brunswick. First of all, I'll speak of the Chief of Justice. The Honorable J. Ernest Drapeau is the head of all judges within the province of New Brunswick, but he also has legislative duties, which include, in the absence of the Lieutenant Governor, he will sign documents on her behalf, and he is also considered the administrator of the Legislative Assembly. The courts. We have 4 courts within Canada, as the Court of Appeal, Court of Queen's Bench, Probate Court, and the Provincial Court. I will elaborate on the Provincial Court of New Brunswick. New Brunswick's court deals with all offenses underneath the criminal code, which are done by adults and youth. They do exempt, though, criminals that have been accused of murder. The youths are between the ages of 12 and 18. I will now pass on the word to Catherine Bourque.
Hello, my name is Catherine Bourque, and I will now present to you an overview of the proposed changes affecting the municipal government. The municipal government is a creature of the provincial government. Here are a few of the proposed changes. First, affecting the policing services. It is recommended that it becomes a mandated service once a plan has been developed through the regional service districts. Now on the level of transportation. Responsibility for roads should remain with the provincial government as opposed to the municipal government. Land use planning. In some cases, former administrative units will receive their planning services from one planning commission. Other cases, it will receive it from their own municipal council. Now, with the relations with the regional service districts. New or reconfigured entities will become one of the 12 service districts. The regional service districts will now be responsible for providing the 5 services earlier mentioned as policing services. Following with the application of the Official Language Act, it is recommended that the Official Language Act and all of its associated regulation be applied to all new or reconfigured entities. Continuing with other local transitional issues, the handling of other local transitional issues such as collective agreements, variety of human resources questions, consolidation of offices and equipment will then begin the process of harmonizing and integrating the various service of the new municipalities. Redefining city, town, and village status. It is proposed that the provincial government, through the Department of Local Government, undertakes a re-examination of the terminology and criteria used to classify new and reconfigured municipalities. Following with fire prevention and suppression, it is proposed that the provincial government mandates each of the 12 regional districts to undertake and complete a 5-year review of the fire and suppression services to assess future viability. Now on to the water and wastewater system development and management. It is proposed that each of the regional service districts be mandated by legislation to develop and administer a regional strategic plan. Now on to the solid waste management services, which is recommended that the entire solid waste management service be transferred to the regional service district and the current solid waste commission be dismissed. And finally, the tourist promotion, which is recommended that each of the municipalities cooperate in order to make tourist promotion a common priority. So that concludes the municipal government proposed services, and I will now let Annabelle conclude this presentation.
This brings end to our presentations. The Canadian public administrations at first may seem to be difficult, but for what we just did is hope that it will be easier to understand. It was our pleasure to participate in this exposition, and we hope that the information presented to you has been useful and helpful in your studies. Finally, we would like to thank Professor Eleonora Marisova for the opportunity to participate in this project. Thank you very much.